Before we start the video, I have a quick little channel sponsor, introducing ExpressVPN. If you don't know what a VPN is, it's basically a private connection between yourself and a virtual server that routes your connection to the internet. Your data is then traced back there and encrypted, meaning your browsing is protected and private. I like using ExpressVPN for watching Netflix in other regions for shows in Japan, like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! To name a few. Unblocking countries like Japan, for example, is really simple. Just fire up your software. You can then search for a location of your choice by typing it in or browsing recommended and all location. Once you've picked your location, simply click the connect button and enjoy. Once you are done browsing, simply click the same button to disconnect. It was also very handy when I was on holiday. I could connect to a public Wi-Fi and feel safe that my data was protected. If this handy software interests you, you can find out how you can get 3 months free by clicking the link in the description box below, expressvpn.com/PIMPNITE. Thanks ExpressVPN for the channel sponsor. What's up, issue? For today's video, we're my full confusing Pokemon types team, specifically for Generation 8. So when I was playing Sword and Shield, right, I come across some Pokemon, and then I was like, it's got to be this type, right? But then it turned out to be a completely different type. If you ever come across a Pokemon like that, leave below in the comment section of the video. We are back with some theme teams, 2 battles today. If you're hyped, drop a like, and let's get into it. This is a battle on my Discord. This one was against Lemony Gem. I nearly said Lemony Snicket. Wait, was that a cricket? Anyway, so we've got a Frostmoth lead here. I'm starting things off with I nearly said Pikachu, my Pincurchin. Now, when I first seen Pincurchin, I thought it was going to be a water or a poison type. In reality, it turned out to be electric type. Now, the little challenge of this team, right, is I had to use moves that were water and poison, right? I could have other moves, but I had to include there was, at least a water or a poison type move, or at least, what I generally first thought what the Pokemon typing was. So we got a Frostmoth going for a Quiver Dance there. Straight off the bat, I really need to get rid of this thing. So we're going to be going for a Rain Dance. This is going to boost the power of the Liquidation. I'm running a physical Pincurchin set. We got max health and max attack, Animate Nature. This thing actually hits pretty hard. So we got Rain Dance as the setup move, Liquidation, Poison Jab, and Self-Destruct. Now we're going to Bug Buzz coming from, I nearly call it Volcarona then. They look very, very similar, right? It's just like an ice type Volcarona, and it's going to have the Throat Spray on top of that too. It's going to have a lot of special attack now. So now we're going to go for a Liquidation there. Liquidation drops really hard, but fails just to take out the Frostmoth. There is nothing I can do. Now the item on my Pincurchin was actually Quick Claw, but Quick Claw didn't activate, and Pincurchin is going to go down. So a pretty rough start there. This thing has actually set up a lot, but the good thing about it, right, it actually only has a little bit of health at the start to go. Now, as soon as I seen Quiver Dance, my first impression was to take it out as swiftly as possible. Oh, look, we've got first impression. So when I seen Phalanx, I definitely saw it as a bug-type Pokemon, and also thought it might be secondary as a Steel-type with all its little minions running after it. Now, obviously, I had to give it Steel-type and Bug-type moves, and I did notice that it got some pretty cool moves. So we got First Impression, we got Mega Horn, and I've also got Iron Head and No Retreat. So we got rid of Frostmoth, which is really good. However, I lost my Pincurchin, so it's a pretty even battle at this point in time. We got max speed and max attack, and we got Jolly Nature on this thing, and we got Grimmsnarl coming out. So like, let's hit this hard. Let's hit this Grims hard, like really, really hard with the Iron Head here, and I get a flinch, which is like really, really good there. So now I can go for another one. Grimmsnarl is definitely going to go down to the next one, and we have a swap into the Corviknight. Now Corviknight is a very bulky Pokemon, and man, could you imagine, right, just lowering your head right and headbutting a Corviknight? That would actually really, really hurt. So I do about 2 damage to Corviknight there, and I really have no moves hit at all. As you can see, I've only got Bug and Steel type moves. So swapping that on out, and now we're going to go into Dark. Now I thought Berserker would be a Dark type as well as a Steel type, so that's why I run this as a Dark type. Now we've got max attack and max speed on this one. It actually gets some pretty cool Dark type moves. I gave it Fling and Iron Ball, and this dropped pretty hard, like not gonna lie, it dropped really, really hard. Now the other move I gave it was Thief, because I could fling that Iron Ball up, right? And then I could thief the opponent's items, still do a little bit of damage, and make them pretty salty. So now we've got the Sandaconda coming out here. I'm flinging that Iron Ball as fast as I can. Like, flinging an Iron Ball would actually be pretty hard, because that would be, like, really, really heavy, right? So on this set, the other moves I got are Hone Claws and Iron Tail. Now, I went for a Thief here, but Sandaconda is going to go for a G-Spot Beyblade, and it's going to let it rip, people. Now, this is probably one of my favorite G-Max Pokemon out of all of them. Like, the design's really cool, and I love how the big snake is, like, spinning around. It brings me back to my days when I played Beyblade. Does anyone know what a Beyblade is? Pretty much, right, you have this little bit of plastic or whatever it is. You stick it in, and you rip it, right, and then the little Beyblades go around the little stadium. They're, like, crashing to each other, and, you know, the first one that flies out is like the winner. Anyway, so it's gonna, I thieved its Rocky helmet. I literally just grabbed its skin, and now it's gonna be doing a G-Max dig, and that's gonna take out my dark type. I nearly called that. I always have like a Meowstic vibe when I have a look at that Pokemon. So Berserker's gonna go down there. I've lost 2 Pokemon, and I've got to deal with this big snake. So when I first seen Graplock, right, I thought instantly that's gotta be a water type. That looks like like an Octillery, right? They gave that big Octillery vibe. So this thing actually gets a couple of water type moves, which is pretty cool, and I'm going to be running a special set. So on this one, we got Hydro Pump, we've also got Octazooka and Mudshot, which is some pretty interesting moves that it gets. So now we're going to go for a Dynamax. I love how it catches itself. Dynamax, a Graplock here, and I'm going to have quite a lot of health against this thing. Now, I sort of want to disguise what kind of moves I had too, with this like a physical or special set. So we've got the G-Max Sandblast here, coming from the Anaconda. It's pretty much just a big Anaconda, if you look at it, right? It's huge. Except, I don't know if they'd like, I guess if they had like a prey or something, they'd like wrap around it. Anyway, so go for the Hydro Pump and Sandaconda. Anaconda is going to go down there. It got smashed out of the arena, people. Anyway, I've got my 1 turn of my Dynamax down, but I do have the rain on the field from the Hydro Pump, which is really, really good. That's going to power up my Hydro Pump. You know, just all my water type moves. If I even go out of the Dynamax, if I last 2 turns, right, which is possible. This thing's pretty bulky. Now, the item I've got in this one as well is Assault Vest, so it's a fairly bulky Pokemon. We got max health and max special attack, modest nature with the Assault Vest. Now, the other moves I had in there was Focus Miss as well. I only put Stab on there as a last resort, really. I tried to really focus on the actual type of moves I thought they were at the start. So we've got a Brave Bird coming from Corviknight there, which is super effective. It actually used up a lot of its health in the recall damage. Now we're going to go for a Max Geyser again. I love how it uses that move. It looks so good. And Corviknight is going to go down. So that was really, really good there. Man, Graplock is clutching at the moment. Corviknight is down, keeping us in this game. All right, so we got still got 4 more Pokemon left, which is really good, and well, 4 alive Pokemon. And now we got the Surfetch coming in. So I was like, okay, Surfetch. Well, that's probably going to be able to outspeed me. Let's just go for a Max Geyser again. It doesn't even matter, right? It's done a pretty dang good job as it is. So they're going to go for a Leaf Blade, and man, that, you know what? As soon as I had, that's right, I had a Grass type Pokemon. I used a Grass move against the Graplock, and I was like, oh, it's not super effective. That's when I first found out, you know, that it wasn't a Water type, it was a Fighting type. So I always thought Q-Fant would be a ground type too instead of steel. It really does give a ground vibe to me. I don't know, that's just me personally. So we got a Colossal coming in here. I've got a Fissure, Iron Defense, Rest, Sleep, Talk set. Guys, this one was a good meme. And now we've got on this one max health and max special defense. Going for that Fissure. Fissure is going to miss. Now Colossal's going to use Flamethrower on the Rain. Let's go, baby. And it still does some pretty good damage to me. If that Rain wasn't up, it would have done like a hell of a lot more damage. So now the Rain is subsided there. You can hear those little drips, guys. I mean, I actually turn off the game sounds, right? When the rain goes on the field, you can actually hear like the drops really well. It sounds like proper rain. Anyway, so we're going to have a Fissure miss again. And now we got a high horsepower. It's a mix set hitting me there for a super effective attack. Now, this is what I was thinking. If they go for another high horsepower, right, I might be able to get an Iron Defense up, rest it off right, and then go for a Sleep Talk and maybe pop it down with a Fissure right. So go for that Iron Defense, which looks like super, super cool there, and giving myself a +2 in defense. Now, the item on this one is obviously Everlight as well. It's a bulky set. So now I'm going to get hit by another Horseshoe. I live on 1 health. Man, yes! Finally, it didn't happen to the opponent. It happened to me. That merch is available, people. It's under the description of the video. You know what to do. Anyway, so go for that rest there. It's going to heal me all the way up to my full health, and now I've got a bonus +2 in defense, and I'm going to be able to tank those high horsepowers like super well. So now Colossal's sort of got the option here either to go for a flamethrower or it could just go for a Scald. Scald was probably going to be enough to nearly going to do enough damage, more than high horsepower now that I had the iron defenses up. So now we're going to go for a Sleep Talk here. Now, Sleep Talk, I was hoping would actually pick the Fissure and take it out, but instead of picking Fissure, it picked Iron Defense again, which is kind of useless because now we're going to go for special type attack, so we're going to go for like a horseshoe again. Anyway, so we've got the Colossal going for a flamethrower here. Now, flamethrower actually does a lot more damage than it obviously did earlier on to the rain, which is when the rain was going, which was really, really bad. So I really, really need a Sleep Talk Fissure. I need this one to let. First, the hard bit about this one is you have to get Sleep Talk and not get Rest Ride, and then you have to get Fissure and for it to land, and I get 2 Iron Defense in a row. That's pretty much equals getting Rest, I reckon, because it did nothing. So now my Colossal's going to be able to freely go for another flamethrower against my Cupid. I can either opt to go for Rest here if I live or throw for a Fissure. Unfortunately for me, it's going to take me out. Poor little Cupid, man. He just got no luck in that battle matchup whatsoever. So I'm down to 2 more Pokemon. I've got my Bug Steel Phalanx here, and I can go for an Iron Head. That's sort of my best option here, or I can go for a No Retreat. Now, I haven't actually, I actually sort of held off going for No Retreat for a long time, but I thought, okay, I probably need to do not low retreat because I'll come fair a bit behind in this battle, right? So we got to swap there. Colossus got to swap, and I'm going to actually sacrifice to the Caterpillars, and I'm going to get a boost in every stat. Now, No Retreat's really good. The only, I guess, the drawback with it is you can't actually swap afterwards, right? So Surf Edge is going to get hit by a really, really hard Iron Head. That's pretty much the best I can do to it because Burst Impression and Mega Horde are not going to do anything to it at all. Now, a Surf Edge is another interesting Pokemon. Did you guys think it would be like just a fighting type? I don't know. Anyway, so unfortunately, well, it was like my good luck turned into bad luck, right? Because Iron Head flinched, but Surf Edge had the Steadfast instead, and it actually gave it another speed boost. All right, so I'm going to go for another flinch. Surf Edge gets 2 Steadfast in a row. I'm like, oh no, it's going to be able to outspeed me this time, and it's going to be able to take me out like with a Brave Bird or something like that. So go for another Iron Head, hoping that I outspeed, because I did get one from the No Retreat myself, but man, I was getting like super lucky there. I outsped the Surf Edge, and it's going to go down. Man, that was crazy. I can't believe that. So getting some very clutch moments there with my Phalanx. Now, the next Pokemon to come in is the Grimmsnarl. I can take Grimmsnarl out with the Iron Head already. It really can't do much to like any of my other Pokemon. The only Pokemon I'm sort of like worried about at the moment is Colossal, right? Because as you guys know, I've only got First Impression and Mega Horn. That's not going to do nothing to Colossal at all. It's going to be like, 4 times resist. And Iron Head is not going to do like too much damage. So Grimmsnarl is going to hit the stack, and it's going to be going down there. We've got one more Pokemon left, which is a Colossal we've seen earlier on. And we have a +1 in everything. So pretty much just the Ancient Power Up. Now, I really like Colossal too. I definitely seen Colossal as a... At the start, I was having like a little bit of a steel type kind of vibe with it, and I thought, nah, it's probably going to be Rock and Fire, and it turned out to be Rock and Fire. So now we've got a Scald here coming from the Colossal. They're going for a burn, and they get the burn. That was very, very fortunate for them there. So I cannot swap it all, and I've got a burn. So that +1 at attack is not going to mean a lot. As you can see, the first Iron Head really didn't do like an overwhelming amount of damage. It was still like a... it's a good 4 to 5 hit KO, right? So I can do nothing yet but go for the Iron Head. But this was pretty funny, right? So Iron Head is only going to do a little bit of damage. And now we have the Colossal going for a Flamethrower. So Flamethrower is obviously the best bet there. Another Flamethrower will definitely take me out. I was maybe hoping I could get like maybe a couple of flinches in, like maybe like 1 or 2 flinches, and I've got one more Pokemon to set in to maybe take it out. But it was very risky with my last Pokemon, so I was kind of worried like what was going to go down here. You guys will be able to see in a second. So now go for another Iron Head on the Colossal there. It's doing no damage at all. It's about a 26 hit KO, and it's also got a Leftovers recovery. So Leftovers is like, when you look at it, Leftovers was like healing back like half the damage I was doing to it. The only thing that was keeping me on the field was the flinches that I was getting with the Iron Head, which is like really, really nice. This thing flinched like so much. So go for another Iron Head there. We get another flinch. Man, this poor Colossal, all it's doing is standing there getting flinched like over and over by a bird phalanx, which is getting all its damage like healed back by lefters. So at this point in the time, I could probably live like, I'd say like 2 or 3 more rounds if I can keep flinching this Colossal like over and over. The burn damage is actually going to take me down. So go for another Iron Head there. We get another flinch. Man, this is low-key Jirachi in the moment. Guys, I'm sorry. I just had to hack Serene Grace onto it. I'm sorry, all right? I had to do it for the video. Anyway, so we got the burn damage there. I've got 14 health left, and I can go for yet another Iron Head. I'm almost out of Iron Heads. That's all like 15 Iron Heads nearly gone. So go for another one. We've only got 2 remaining on the Colossal, and I get another flinch. What is going on here? This is crazy. This poor Colossal, like, I don't think I've ever got this much luck with Iron Head. Like, when you take out a Jirachi or something like that, I've never, ever got so much luck with the move Iron Head. So, down to my last turn. It doesn't matter obviously, if I get a flinch or not this turn, because I'm going to be going down to the burn damage. I cannot believe how many flinches I've actually got against this thing. So, go for my final Iron Head there. I only had 1 or 2 Iron Heads left. And finally, of course, on the last turn, Colossal is going to get around that and take my bug and still. Well, that should have actually been 4 times super effective if I was bug or still. Anyway, so I'm still getting a little bit of health back there with leftovers. And you guys are probably thinking, okay, you got a slow Pokemon reverse. It's only got a bit of health. What's the problem, man? The problem is Cinderace, I thought was going to be a fighting type, and I'm running a Work Up, Focus Miss, and Overheat. Overheat ain't going to take it out. My only option is go for the Focus Miss, and Focus Miss lands. Man, I would have been absolutely shattered then if that lost. Colossal would have been like throwing horseshoes at me all day long. Anyway, people, that was a crazy battle. I hope you enjoyed that first one. And thank you, Lemony Gem, for the battle. And we've got 2 battles today, as I mentioned. I'm going to take a quick little swig of drink. And let's get on to the second one. Now, this is the battle once again on my Discord. Discord is in the description of the video. Man, eating that Pokeball guy's hand. What's going on? This one's against Flare and Fruff, and we have a pretty interesting battle here as well. We actually got like a different arena that time, which is cool. So this was really funny. We have a Dugtrio league. Now, every single person right now is thinking, okay, well, this Pinchurchin is gone, man. He ain't living this matchup. He can't swap. He can't do anything. Earthquake's going to body it. And that's what I was thinking too, right? I was like, should I go for Rain Dance or should I just go for Liquidation? I decided, right, to go for the Liquidation. Quick Claw activates. I obviously outspeed the Dugtrio, and Dugtrio has like 1 defense and goes down to my Pinchurchin. That was a crazy first turn there. Let the salt flow, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't even need to set up my Rain Dance. That was so perfect. All right, the next Pokemon we got coming in here is the Leafeon. So Leafeon's going to be able to do some pretty good damage to me. It's going to be able to set up me. So I thought, let's go for a Poison Jab here. Poison Jab do some like okay damage. And I could go for a Self-Destruct, but like, let's go for Poison damage. We'll go for the super effective. Then I can just go for like the Self-Destruct afterwards, right? So we got a Sword Dance coming from Leafeon. Go for that Poison Jab. Poison Jab does some pretty nice damage there from Pinchurchin. It's a clear 2-hit KO, and I get a Poison as well, which is really good. So Pinchurchin doing a very good job, you know, starting off this battle, nearly taking, I guess, I mean, it's taken 3/4 of Leafeon's health, and it absolutely bodied that Dugtrio at the start. So now I'm thinking, what should I swap into here? You know, this thing's definitely going to go for a Leaf Blade. If it's got some sort of coverage move that's a normal type move, it's not going to be very fun to swap into. I've got to keep the faith alive and go for the Poison Jab Quick Claw, but unfortunately for me, it didn't happen, and Leafeon is going to cut me in half with a critical hit. But that's good. That's fine. That's fine. Pinchurchin did absolutely like a lot more than I thought it would do. Okay, so Leafeon's on a little bit of health here. I've got 5 more Pokemon, so we're all good. So obviously my first impression of seeing this Pokemon on the field was to go for the first impression. This move actually came in handy a lot of the time. Like it's just very good at like cleaning Pokemon off on like a little bit of health. It's very nice. The problem with the first impression is you can only use it first, right? And then you can't. It's basically like Fake Out, a bug type version of Fake Out. That doesn't flinch. So now, this is a very scary Pokemon, which is Arcanine. Guys, I'm scared of that low-key 4 times weakness. I cannot do a single cracker to this Arcanine. I've got to swap out, and I've got to go into my Cupid here. Hopefully, I might be able to tank this one and fissure it. It's going to be a Flare Blitz set. I was like, yikes, this is going to do a lot of damage. And poor Cupid. Man, Cupid has had no luck at all. But don't worry. Don't you worry, people. Cupid is coming back for some amazing memes at the end of this video. You got to check it all out. All right, next Pokemon coming in is my Graplock. Now, Graplock can go for... I was actually contemplating thinking, should I go for a Dynamax here? I actually Dynamax Graplock more than any other Pokemon on my team, believe it or not. Anyway, so we got a Endure here. I'm going for the Hydro Pump, which looks absolutely... I love how it comes out of the little what do you call that? Like a sucker thing or something like that? Whatever it is, I think we had this conversation one day about Octillery too. Anyway, come out of this little suction thing on the side of its head, and we're going to drop that down to 1 health. It's going to get a boost with its Lychee Berry. Then I thought, man, this is not good. Let's go into my Berserker, and that's like the most disposable Pokemon at the moment. They went for a Wild Charge, and they're going to go down, which is good there. Arcanine was very, very scary with +1 on attack, and, Flare Blitz, any sort of physical move. All right, so now we've got the Inteleon coming in. I cannot outspeed this thing. The best I can possibly do here is just fling my Iron Ball. I know that I'll nearly take it out in one shot. And now we've got a snipe shot coming from James Bond here. And now my little Berserker is going to go down. These were no joke sets too. These were pretty dang hard to get around, especially the Arcanine and the Inteleon. So now I was thinking, okay, what can I do here? I know that First Impression is going to do donkeys. Megahorn's going to do donkeys because it's not stab. Like, I know that I can't even one-shot this thing, so I just went for Megahorn. That's sort of like my best bet here. So now we got another snipe shot coming from the Inteleon. Does a lot of damage. I only just hang on that one. And now we're going to fire off Megahorn. I was actually really worried it would miss then. And it kind of does very underwhelming damage, so I cannot swap here at all. Inteleon is actually a very hard Pokemon to swap in on my team. So Phalanx is going to go down. Definitely not as useful as it was in the other battle, but at the same time, it didn't have much of a chance. So I'm down to 2 Pokemon. Things are like dire straight at the moment. So I can go for a Dynamax, and then I could go for a Max Knuckle. I could sort of like hide the set I did with this as well. Once again, I like to... The Dynamax is kind of good because you can kind of hide that you're running a physical or a special set. I mean, it's not infallible, right? You could probably tell by the damage calcs depending on the Pokemon, but still, you can hide it in a way that the opponent may not know until after your Dynamax wears off, right? So we're going to be a big old octopus again there, and we're going to go for the Max Knuckle. The Inteleon went for a U-turn there, which is interesting, so that tells me that it's not like choice or anything like that. So it's going to be swapping out. That was just like a little scouting move, and we've still got like 2 other Pokemon other than the Inteleon to actually contend with here. So now we got Hug Me coming in, which is the Jolteon. Now Jolteon doesn't have bad special defense, so it's like, okay, this is probably not going to do like lots and lots of damage, and it's about a 3-hit KO, possibly a 2-hit KO. I actually get a Attack Rise, which is useless on this set, but something that's not useless on this set would be Max Quake. Because what Max Quake will do, right, it'll give me, obviously, a super effective move to use against Jolteon, and it'll give me a +1 in special defense is what I want to. So Electro Ball's going to do donkeys here. I've got the Assault Vest, not that it really matters or anything because I'm in Dynamax. And we got a Life Orb there coming from on the Jolteon too. I'm going to go for my Max... my Max Mud Shot, and Jolteon is going to go down. Now, the good thing about this, right, is Inteleon is a special attacker, right? I'm going to get a +1 in special defense, so that's going to be really bulky. It's going to need a crit to get around me, right? And I've also got Assault Vest on that one too, when, Dynamax actually wears off. So now Inteleon is going to come in here. They've got half health. I was like, okay... I could go for another Max Quake, or let's go for a Max Knuckle. Decide to go for the damage and go for the Max Knuckle against this. This was the problem Pokemon. My last Pokemon was Cinderace. I thought Cinderace could outspeed it, but I was a little bit worried about that one too. Anyway, so we got a Dynamax Inteleon here. Even though they're on half health, I guess they were assuming like, okay, well, if I Dynamax my Pokemon here, they're obviously running a meme special attacking set, so I should be able to live the Max Knuckle, and I should be able to fire off something against this Grat Block. And also my Dynamax is actually wearing off the next turn, so I'll be able to do one more move in, that'll be it. Alright, so now I'm going to go for the Max Knuckle winner. Max Hailstorm coming from the Inteleon, and Max Hailstorm does donkeys to me. I'm so bulky at the moment. Now, that's actually put the Hail on the field, so it's going to do some extra damage to us as well, to both of us. And now we got the Max Knuckle coming from the Octoling, the Grat Block. Man, I always call it Octoling. And that actually doesn't take it out, which is really, really bad. I've got an Attack Rise. The only problem about running a special set, right, a special fighting move, is you don't get a special Attack Rise. You get a +1 in attack instead. It's actually kind of bad on special sets. Alright, so this is only on a little bit of health here. I don't want to go for Mud Shot because I don't think it will actually take it out. I decided to go for the Focus Blast, and that'll be more than enough to actually take out the Inteleon, like super, super easy. So now we've got a Max Geyser coming off Inteleon's Snipe Shot here in the Hail, and that hits me like really hard. I just hang on there on 10 health. And man, that actually did probably a little bit more damage than I thought, without the rain then. Anyway, so go for Focus Miss, and Focus Miss misses. No, that was such a big miss there. I'm devastated right now. So As I said, Mud Shot wouldn't have taken out, and now it's going to be able to go for a Max Geyser, and that is my Grap lockdown. All I've got left now is my Cinderace. Now, Inteleon is going to be small again. That was its last move of Dynamax, but, right. Unlike the first battle, all I could pretty much do here, because remember, it is raining. It is raining, and it's coming off Cinderace's special attack, right? All I can do is go for Focus Miss and pray that it lands. And if it does, I'm in a good chance, right? So go for that Focus Miss, and Focus Miss misses twice in a row, and Inteleon is going to be able to snipe shot me in the rain. And ladies and gentlemen, that was the saltiest thing. You know what? That battle didn't happen. That battle actually didn't happen. We only had one battle today, people. Let's get that in the comment section. Thanks for the battle, Flare and Fluff. I'm definitely not salty at all. Peace. Enjoy those bloopers and bonus battle.